A great deal of the initial training in mobility skills can take place right in the classroom, and it's there that the child may master the developmental motor sequence that leads to walking. In the classroom, in the academic setting where the child is used to doing classwork, there's the time and the opportunity to place a great deal more emphasis on communication of those actions that deal with mobility. What begins as simple coactive movement develops into the child learning simple active skills. The child initially being helped to do the sequence by the teacher can gradually learn to do those sequences by themselves. The simple cue of patting the child on the back of the leg tells her when to lift her leg to stand on one foot for balance. She initially has 2 points of support, moves to 1 point of support, and at a later stage will be able to balance on 1 foot to learn to compensate for changes in balance and changes that are moving off her center line. If mobility is the art of finding your way to a destination, it might just as well be said that mobility is the art of finding your way back on track when you're lost. When we spin the child in the classroom or spin them a number of times in a corner, they learn those orientation cues that they have to detect to find their way back on track. Skills of balance learned during different types of movements are all building blocks for the sense of balance, the continuum of developmental skills of rising to one's feet and walking. Work on the balance beam develops a progressive sense of the skills needed to make those minor adjustments in the muscle groups while walking. This is a dynamic sense of balance. The small changes in muscles are quite different from that needed in static balance, or just standing in one position for extended periods of time.
There you go.
Closeness and touching are extremely important for our young deafblind children. One of the most meaningful mobility lessons for them at this age is moving from one person to another. Between contacting the teacher and the teacher's aide, she's learning a motor dichotomy, forward and backward. She's learning how to make a turn and to return to the start of the small journey. The teacher and the teacher's aide are close enough to give whatever clues the child needs to find that person. The child is able to assume progressively more control over this mini journey. The child is also learning communication of those motions needed during travel. The teachers can move progressively further away, and gradually they will move to opposite sides of the room, even around corners, down hallways, and at some stage of later training, the teachers will be a floor away, and the child will have to learn an entire sequence of hallways, stairways, and turns. These skills will become very important later when she learns to remember landmarks on a route. The foot is often used as a probe, sometimes to find the top stair, other times to find an edge or a landmark. To do this, you have to develop balance standing on one foot. The child can learn to find the turn of a cross sidewalk to use as a landmark using the side of the foot. We start this very early. Later stages, the cane will do most of the work, but at this stage of pre-cane training, the child is learning to gain information from the bottoms and the sides of the feet. More complex than an out and back route is a route in which there's a turn. The teacher is close enough to give a cue to Sara to have her turn, and when she contacts the teacher, she'll have to retrace that route and retrace the turn in the opposite direction. These are things that she has to learn motorically with her body before she can learn to communicate them. The bottoms and the sides of the feet are very sensitive, and our young children learn, barefooted, to discern a number of different types of texture, that of sand, gravel, grass, cement, asphalt, rugs, linoleum. They learn to follow the edge of objects such as mats. This is called shorelining. Other areas they learn to shoreline are the edges of grass and concrete, the edge of a curb, or the side of a sidewalk. This sensitivity becomes very useful later when the sides and the bottom of their feet can gain additional clues to those picked up by their cane and give them some information on both the slope and the texture of the terrain over which they're walking. In presenting the cane at the same time children are doing shorelining work, they don't always learn to pick up cues from the cane. Sometimes the cues they do learn to pick up are different than those that they're getting from their shorelining foot. Here, Sarah's learning how to go around the corner with the cane. This will be a long process of internalizing the concepts and the information that she receives through her hand and through the cane. The structure of a schedule is very important for a deaf-blind program. Setting up a space-time continuum gives the child a comfortable structure, and from that structure the child can learn to move out to a destination, do a particular action for a duration of time, and move back. The basket that we've given Sara is a cue to the route, while the cane is becoming progressively a sensing instrument along that route. The first landmarks the child learns are those that are very easily sensed. Here she's feeling the heat on one of the heaters. This will contrast with the coolness of the brass handle on the door. This juxtaposition of contrasting landmarks, of contrasting senses, provides in itself a very valuable cue of orientation along the route. Other landmarks that are very useful are things that the child can do something to, do some action to, and that have some sort of personal meaning to the child. Stairs are not only a physical landmark, but they necessitate a change of technique as well. Work on stairs builds up strength, balance, stamina, sensitivity, and skill. There's a cluster of clues at the top of the stairs. As she leaves the stairs and moves onto the rug, she contacts the heat of the heater and feels the warmth of the sun on her face. On a cold or foggy day, she can feel the coolness of the window, and she moves into her left to shoreline the wall with her cane. When she gets to the snack room, she'll get the morning snack to bring back to her classroom, and she'll retrace the route. The snack is a very important part of the morning program because it breaks the schedule of the morning up into at least two parts. The child learns to discriminate between a number of different types of fruit and vegetables, learns to use the senses of touch, taste, and smell to discern these fruits and vegetables, and gradually learns to make a choice, a distinction between them, and to express their own wants and desires. The next step is to add a symbol, whether it be gesture, formal sign, or a word. The child soon learns that if they're able to express one of their preferences, they're free to go along that route up to the snack room and get that which they want. The time will come when the child will make a trip to a local store, learn the orientation of the routes within the store, learn where the fruits, vegetables, candy, or drinks are sold, communicate their wants to the storekeeper, buy the item, and return to school. The sense of smell will become important in discriminating various types of business establishments, such as grocery stores, donut shops, delicatessens, or drugstores. The cane is kept in the same place in the classroom, so the child is free if she chooses to use it on a route where there's a necessity, a goal, a preference. There should be a personal choice. And that's the most meaningful time to teach a route. The child sometimes communicates some of their more pressing needs non-verbally. One of the most important aspects of mobility is for the child to assume increasingly the control for their own personal needs. Their own needs are the basis for teaching meaningful mobility skills.